Hello, welcome to day 50 of 99 Days of Deeper Embodiment. My name is Jason King, and I'm just going to pause for a moment to allow others to join. If you're joining, leave a comment. Let me know that you're here. Again, this is day 50 of 99 Days of Deeper Embodiment. Hi, Alex. Nice to see you. Hello, hello. I'm just taking a moment here to just really be present. Feels like there's a lot coming up over the course of the past few days that wants to move my focus into action, into movement, into doing things. And so I'm just becoming more aware of that. It's funny because someone said to me the other day, they said, more books are finished in the first 2 weeks of January than in any part of the year. Thanks. Yeah, I did get a haircut. Yes, yes. So, so then she said, well, if everyone is focused on their New Year's intention, and on their New Year's resolutions, then you can ride that wave. And I feel it. There is a wave here. There's like an energy of, of wanting to get things done, of wanting to get things accomplished, of actually feeling as if it's possible. The the wave of possibility is opening. The wave of excitement around possibility and newness is here. And so it's fun to feel this. It's like, oh, everything is new. Everything is exciting. I can be a new person today. There's a new me in front of you today. Oh, wonderful. Yes, I have a new haircut. See? So much fun. So much fun around the newness. And so with the newness, there's lightness as well. And so with that lightness, there's not a holding on to the dense ideas and the heaviness of 2020. There is now the newness and the lightness of 2021 here. And I can use that momentum to kind of align myself with whatever feels fun, whatever feels exciting, and move with that. Well, at the same time, I'm noticing that from the feminine energy in my body, that this movement can feel a bit crass, can feel a bit um, like a heaviness, like, oh, you want me to move, you want me to to do stuff, you want me to work on things. And so there is a balance. I'm noticing that too. It's like, yeah, move with the newness, move with the open to the flow, open to the flow of the potentials that want to arise, and move with what feels fun and exciting, while at the same time still find time for being fully present with me, not getting lost in that rat race. Because when does it become a rat race? When I'm not present, you see? And that's when we don't follow through with our resolutions. When don't we follow through with our resolutions? When don't we complete what it is that we set out to complete? When it starts to feel like a rat race, when it doesn't feel fun anymore, when it doesn't feel exciting anymore. And so then attention goes elsewhere. It says, oh, yeah, I did this for a week and now I'm bored. And my attention flows into something else. So, what is the trick to continuing to move with that momentum after the boredom sets in, after it begins to feel like a rat race? More present, becoming more present with everything too. Movement, presence, movement, back into stillness, movement, back into stillness. It's when I think that I have to constantly be moving all the time that I forget to be present with anything. And this is when the ideas begin to build up. And as they begin to build up, then it feels like I'm lost in a rat race. Then it feels like I'm just moving for the sake of movement, and there's no sense to it all. And then it doesn't feel good anymore. So come back into presence, here and now. There is a organization in MIT right now called the Presencing Institute, and they've done a lot of research on this. And they have a theory called Theory U. And Theory U shows a U-shaped model, where we constantly have the awareness of moving back into presence dissolving all the past and coming back into newness. And it's in newness where the excitement is. It's in newness where the fun is. Which is why there is this push after New Year's. Which is why there is this momentum after New Year's. It's like, oh my God, it's fun. Yes, everything is new. Let me move with this. Let me complete my book. Let me complete all my New Year's resolutions. Let me do everything that I ever wanted to do. And let me do it now. And so what normally happens is that kickoff, that momentum takes us only so far. So that push after New Year's that we're feeling, where everyone sets an intention together, everyone sets a resolution together, that only takes us so far. And then it begins to feel like a drag. Then it doesn't feel fun anymore. And then it's like, okay, well, where did the fun go? What happened? Two things. One is we set too many resolutions, too many commitments. And so because we overextend ourselves, then nothing gets done. Then we can't accomplish any of it because there's too many commitments being made. And so what the mind says at that point is, oh, well, if I can't do all of them, then I won't do any of them. It's like this logic that comes in that says, oh, well, if I can't do all of them, then I'm a failure. And if I'm a failure, I'm a failure. And I can't do anything at all. And then so immediately that kicks us backwards. We get kicked like a horse kicking us in the face. Kicks us backwards. And then we're stuck with those charges because what do those charges say? They say that I'm a failure. They say that I can't complete anything. They say that I can never follow through with my commitments. You see, and then they say that I don't love myself and I'm not trustworthy. Which of course gets projected onto God or an idea of God. And God is not trustworthy at this point because look at where I am. I'm a failure. I can't do anything right. And so if I believe that about myself, then I have to believe that God is a dick. Meanwhile, God didn't do this. God has nothing to do with this. Nothing at all. All this is just lack of ability to see clearly and choose wisely where to put my energy, what commitments to actually energize and which ones to dissolve. And then also a knowing around how to dissolve commitments so that I can feel through that charge, which would be the idea that I'm failing at something. Because anytime I make a commitment, then if I don't complete the commitment, then the charge comes up, which is the idea that I fail at something. And so how does one meet these? It's an idea that's there. How does one meet it? By forgiving oneself fully and completely and dissolving that charge. Why is there such a push after New Year? Why does it feel like there's a momentum here? Why does it feel like I can create right after New Year? Because so many people dissolve the year prior in their mind. Oh, 2020 is gone. Okay, it's gone. Newness is here. Yay, newness is here. And then in that recognition that it's always new right here and now, then there is potentials that open. Then there is opportunities that open. Then there is hope that opens. And then I begin to flow with that. And when everyone on the planet is doing that all at once, that creates a lot of momentum. You see, but if I make a commitment, then I don't follow through with it, and then I hold on to this idea that I'm a failure, then that begins to drag on my consciousness. Then I begin to believe that I'm a failure, and then I don't take on new commitments. Then I don't make new decisions, and I stay in limbo. And what does limbo feel like? It feels like no movement, stagnation. It feels like there's nothing happening here. It feels like I can't do anything. I can't create, because if I try to, then I end up feeling really shitty. Because anytime that I'm holding on to these really dense ideas that say that I'm a failure, and then I move back into creation again, then I have to feel those ideas. They come up. And when they come up, if I'm not ready to feel them, if I'm not ready to drop them fully and completely and feel all the way through them, then they bounce me right back into limbo. And this is where almost everyone on the planet is all the time, in some form of limbo, which is another word for purgatory. And it's a purgatory of your own creation, a purgatory of your own mind. Because there's resistance to okay, looks like I'm back. Cutting out again. Hopefully it stays good. Because what I'm talking about is really, really quite crucial. It's a really key understanding here. And the key understanding is that it's never God's fault. There is no God that has anything to do with it at all. There. It's all right there in your mind. So if I believe that I'm a failure, if I believe that I can't do it, then that is my own limiting belief around it. If I believe that God can't be trusted, that's my own belief around it. I'm projecting an external God that can't be trusted. And it's my belief around it. So here, the awareness that I'm bringing to this is that if I move with an intention, and I'm focused on that intention, and then I don't complete it, then there's some idea there. And that idea says that I'm a failure, that I did not complete something. And so if I just allow that idea to be there and to remain there, and then I believe that idea, then that idea is resistance. It creates resistance. And it creates resistance to moving and doing anything. And so because that idea feels very, very jagged and it doesn't feel very good, then oftentimes the next step is to numb oneself. And so how does numbing show up? Usually as getting angry at others, getting angry at the universe, getting angry at God, getting angry at your brothers or sisters or your job, getting angry at your life circumstances, getting angry at the government. That's usually the way that that shows up. Meanwhile, if you get really honest with yourself, what is it that you're really angry at? Yourself. It has nothing to do with anyone else, ever. So why are you angry at yourself? Because you made a commitment to yourself and then you didn't follow through. And then in not following through, you believed an idea. And what is that idea? That I can't do it. And in believing that idea creates a heaviness. And in that heaviness, if I'm not able to meet that fully and completely and feel it and forgive myself all the way through, then I begin to project that on others. I begin to project that on my world. I begin to project that on my government. I begin to project that on my friends and my family. And the more that I continue this cycle, the deeper I go and the more I have to know. And so I may end up drinking alcohol, I may end up using drugs, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And so, how do we move in a way with more consciousness around this? Because this is constantly moving us, constantly how we're flowing and moving, around charges or through them, around charges or through them. Either I see that there's a charge there, I recognize that there's a charge there, and I allow myself to feel it fully and completely, dissolving the idea around it, and the idea being that I'm a failure, the idea being that there's something wrong with me or that I'm not enough and that I can't do it. And so dissolving that idea is always bringing in my wholeness and completeness, recognizing that there's nothing that I ever can't do and that that's only a belief. And so how can I bring in my wholeness and completeness? By completing tasks. It's a very simple thing. I'm just changing my mind. So I show my mind, oh, I can do it because I'm moving and I'm doing things. Look, I can do it. So say, for instance, the idea says that I can't find a job. Okay, so how do I go about finding a job? I take a step in the direction of finding a job. I make a commitment to myself today to perhaps look at job listings for 5 minutes and read them. Okay, wonderful. Then I celebrate. Oh, I did it. Yay. And then that feeling of celebration can carry me, give me more momentum towards the next commitment. Okay, maybe today I make a commitment to look at job listings for 10 minutes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, I completed that commitment. Okay, yay, celebrate. Beautiful, wonderful. And now more momentum is gained. And this can be used with anything. I want to write a book. I've never written a book before. Okay, let me sit down and write for 20 minutes a day. And I'll celebrate after every 20 minutes is completed. What is 20 minutes? 20 minutes is nothing. It's nothing at all. And if I miss my commitment, if I don't make my commitment, if for some reason something comes up and I can't do it, then immediately forgive myself, immediately move into the charges, immediately recognize that there are charges there and feel them fully and completely, forgiving myself, dissolving all of those ideas of being a failure, all of those ideas of not actually fulfilling what it is that I committed to do to myself, for myself, and then continuing to walk. Pick it up again. Now, the danger here is that I go too far into movement and I forget to be present. And when I forget to be present, that's when the ideas start to move me and presence is not embodied. And if presence is not embodied, then the ideas start to move me. That's where I begin to feel exhaustion. And I begin to feel as if I'm stressed. And when I begin to feel exhaustion and stress, then boredom sets in, and then a pull away from movement comes. And that's when I don't complete my commitment. That's when I don't do it. That's when I fall. So the trick is to remain present, even when moving. And if I can't do that, then move and then come back to presence and feel. Then move, then come back to presence and feel. Like the theory U that I mentioned, which you can Google. Theory U, dissolve the past, come into presence at the bottom of the U, and then move into newness. Dissolve the past, come into presence at the bottom of the U, and then move into newness. And newness is where the energy is. Newness is where the momentum is. Newness is always where the excitement is. And excitement is how we create. So if I can't maintain presence, if I can't be fully present while I'm moving, then begin to develop the ability to recognize when I'm moving from stress and drop the stressful ideas and come back into presence and start to use an ebb and a flow in my life. Movement, come back to presence. Movement, come back to presence. And I can do this all day long. I can do an hour of creation and then come back into presence for 10 minutes. An hour of creation, then come back into presence for 10 minutes. An hour of creation, then come back into presence for 10 minutes. And this is sustainable. This can be sustained. The other one where I'm just moving and moving and moving and never come back into presence, that's not sustainable. Because then I'm never meeting the stressful ideas. I'm never fully present with myself. And the ideas begin to move me, and then what do? They exhaust me. They use up all of my awareness. They use up all of my attention. They use up all of my focus, and then there's none of me left. There's no more embodiment. Eventually, the ability to be present, even when moving, is quite natural. I can move and be present at the same time, fully present here, awake. And so then there's never exhaustion. Because is awareness ever exhausted? No, never. And there's never boredom. Is awareness ever bored? No, never. But this comes later, after a lot of experience with being here, centered in stillness, amidst it all, no matter what is happening externally. And so the beginning is A, forgive yourself for all past mistakes, all ideas of being a failure, all ideas of ever having done anything wrong. Completely, let it all go. There is no past. You are new here and now. Okay, wonderful. All right, and anytime anything comes up that says that I'm a failure or that I did something in the past that was wrong or that something like this could ever possibly be, just feel it, forgive it right in the moment and let it go. Dissolve it fully and completely here and now. Okay, that's one. Two is make commitments that are reasonable. So become very, very particular about my word. Very, very particular about what I commit to. Never make a commitment that I cannot actually fulfill. And this doesn't mean be afraid of commitment. This doesn't mean retract from commitment, because that can also happen too once we begin to see that it is making commitments that creates all of these charges and this pain that we've been feeling. Right? So that is a reaction to recognizing, oh my God, I've been creating all of this pain. So I'm just not going to commit to anything. No, we still need to commit, because if we don't commit, then there's no movement. And if there's no movement, then what is there? Death. Life is moving, always. Life is always moving. So if we stop committing, if we stop moving, then what is there? Death. That's all there is. Your body will dry up at that point. Right? So only make commitments that we can actually fulfill. Be loving and reasonable with oneself. Feel into what is there and decide, okay, I can do this. Yes, this is a yes. And then do it. Fulfill it. Complete it. So in the beginning, my experience is that it's better to take on smaller commitments until one has a lot of trust and confidence in one's own source connection. Because if you try to take on a huge commitment in the very beginning, a year long or more, then if you stop in the middle of that one, then that's a lot of charges to feel through afterwards. There's a huge amount to feel through there. Now, obviously, when you can see that you are presence and you are awareness, it doesn't matter how much there is to feel through because you are always whole and complete. So you can take on the world at that point. But that is not where the majority of us are at. The majority of us are not at the point where we're seeing our wholeness and completeness all the time. The majority are seeing ideas. Sometimes there is a recognition of innate wholeness and completeness, and it pops in and out. Until you are recognizing your wholeness and completeness all the time, then it doesn't matter what there is to feel through. It doesn't matter what there is to dissolve. But the majority aren't there yet. Okay, so we have to be honest with where we're at. We have to be honest with ourselves, not with anyone else, because it doesn't. No one else matters. What matters is what I'm creating. What matters is what I'm believing. What matters is the limiting beliefs that are in front of me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Okay, so number 2 was make reasonable commitments. Commitments that can actually be completed. And then number 3, anytime you feel as if there's no awareness, as if you're being run by ideas, which the sign for that is exhaustion, the sign for that is boredom. Those are 2 signals, right? Very, very clear. And then as soon as those signals come through, the idea to stop doing anything shows up because you're believing things about yourself. You're believing ideas that are there in your subconscious. You're believing that you're a failure, or that's being reflected for you through things that your family or other people are saying to you too. Because that's the way that it always shows up. Because if you're believing it, then someone will reflect it for you. Someone will tell it to you. This is where haters come in and say, "Oh, you're an asshole. You can't do anything right." So they'll just verbalize what you're already believing about yourself. So when this shows up, then enter the you. Okay, enter the you. Dissolve the past, come into presence, stay in presence as long as necessary. A minute, 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it takes. And then come back into newness. And then from newness, you have momentum. From newness, there's excitement. From newness, there's newness. It's newness. It's new. There's nothing known about it. It is fun. And that is where we want to stay. In the fun zone. If you're not in the fun zone, then come back into the you. Dissolve the past, all the ideas of it, find presence, stabilize there, feel presence, and then come back into newness, where there's hope and there's excitement. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to end for today, and I will talk to you tomorrow for day 51. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.